Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. It is very sad for an immigrant to go and celebrate, you know, the Independence Day of the United States of America and get involved with the Americans, the native-born Americans. Obviously, I'm an immigrant, and it's sad to get involved and see how the native born Americans are celebrating their Independence Day. Today is the 4th of July 2022, and like any other person here in the States, I went and celebrate with Americans, and I always did. There's a sad feeling when you realize that the Native Americans, the ones who were born here, are looking at 4th of July as being far away from its real meaning. For us, immigrants, who have something in our heads and our souls, when we come over, we don't know much about the United States. We think that the United States is, it's a special, fantastic country, which, to be honest, it is compared with the shithole country I'm coming from. And it's not the country, it's the people who took control of our countries that destroyed our cultures, our traditions. Nevertheless, we come here to this country in a hope of being free, being having more liberty, and being allowed to do certain things that we're not able to do in our countries of birth. And for the most part, that is true. It is true. United States gives us more freedom. You can still find a certain culture that reminds you of the United States of America, but if you look deep enough, you can find the other rotten side of the United States with things that remind me of the tyrannical system of Romania that was led by the communist party. Anyway, I go and sit at the table with Americans, native born. We listen to the music, we sing songs, we are professing our patriotism for this country. But you know what's missing? It's something missing inside. And I don't blame the native born Americans who were, you know, socialized in a way of kind of hating their country and looking at its lows, not at its highs, when it was great. And they miss some points of what made this country great. Unfortunately, the United States is, in my assessment as an immigrant, is going down. Our liberties and freedoms are infringed, and the government takes more and more control of our lives, which was not intended by the founding fathers. Yes, the founding fathers. Put this in the context of their time and see how fantastic these guys were able to be. When I was in Romania and I was propagandized by the Communist Party into looking at the United States of America, they said, yeah, they got their freedom and they had a constitution, and that was it. It was the exploitation of man by other men. That was the main idea. When I grew older, I started reading on my own the documents, the founding documents of this country. And I put them, because I'm not a fucking idiot, I put them in a context of whatever I read and whatever I read after that about other countries, not constitutions because they were too stupid to have a constitution, any edicts, any laws. And I put the American Constitution versus everything else I read about. And I realized that these guys were, I would like to use that word called retards, but I will use it because right now I'm a little bit, how should I put it, a little bit after a few glasses of wine. So when you have a little bit of wine in your system, you tend to tell the truth. And you leave behind all the political correctness and all the social accepted versions of reality which are bullshit. So this is what I guess I'm doing right now. Nevertheless, putting in the context of the American Constitution and everything else that I knew about the world, this document is the greatest document in a human race history. You will not find anywhere else in the history anything better than this one. And I'm not talking as a patriotic idiot. I'm talking about just read it. Just read it. And put it in a context with any other document. And you will find out that this document gives this country that was created by Europeans, some Europeans, not all Europeans, some Europeans. This country was not created by anybody else but the Europeans, some Europeans. Gives such a meaning that the retards nowadays, they don't realize because you know what, they're not well read. They don't know how to put it in the context. They're so childish in their brain that they don't understand things. But the sheer number of their number, they try to change things. Nevertheless, what I observed here is that it's an erosion of the values, ideas of this country when it was made up, when it was formed. And it's saddening. You know why? Because you come as a foreigner and you come here and you meet these people, Americans, Native Americans. I'm not talking about the Indians, Americans who came here too. So that's therefore they're not native either. And you look at them and say, you feel like slapping them and trying to wake them up from their, I don't know, ideology that was fed to them all this time. And these guys who accept immigrants, they don't understand that the immigrants come for those values. They don't come for the economic values and abilities or possibilities on this country. Some of them come. I came for that too. But when I started to understand that there's more than that here, I realized that the immigrants will come here and will be kind of disappointed what they find. And what I'm talking about is just that the Americans do not know what they're fighting. They're not fighting anyway, what they are here. And then you have these subversive groups who will take over our country. So happy 4th of July. And that's a really big fight that occurs here. And unfortunately, you need some of this and some of this to realize what the hell you're fighting for. It's a vicious fight. The people who do not know what they're fighting for because they're not fighting, they should be just put to the side of the fight and you know talk but have no part in the real fight here. There's a real fight. You can say, well, what are you talking about, Emil? Well, it's the values that are eroding, little by little, one by one. We gotta maintain those. Just put the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States in the context of its time and see how good, fantastic they were. Don't give me slavery, because at that time, look around the world and put in a context and see when slavery was abolished in Africa, for instance. It's still there right now. Nevertheless, happy 4th of July. Happy United States Independence Day. Have a nice day. Be strong, be smart, look for the truth, and be just.